Shields up, Ironbreakers. Rurikhan here coming at you with another video, and welcome back to the best video games of 2017. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about Divinity Original Sin 2. And I know that a lot of you guys are going to be surprised because you might remember the video that I did about the exceptions of video games that weren't going to make it. And the reason that I had said that I probably wasn't going to make, this game was not going to make my list of 2017 is because I didn't have time to play it. And to be completely honest, I still didn't have time to really play it. However, I did get to play a little bit of it over the last week. And if I'm to be completely honest, goddamn, if there's this is most definitely one of those games that even just by playing a little bit, like even just playing 1 or 2 hours of this video game, you can instantly tell the potential of this video game and why it makes my personal list. As a matter of fact, it is hands down the best PC exclusive game I've played this year. Easily the best one. Like, there's nothing that even comes close to it. This game just manages to do so many things right. Now, this is a tactical turn-based RPG for the PC. Unfortunately, it has not been announced on any console yet. I believe that not so long ago, one of the developers actually said, maybe we'd put it on the Switch. You know, this is obviously a huge speculation, but still, I think this game on the Switch could actually be pretty damn fun. I would like to see that, and it would probably make me want to play it even more. But I've played just a very little bit of it. I've played through the introduction, and it's just like, the thing about Divinity Original Sin 2 is that it manages to entertain you right from the start. Just like as you're creating your character, you're already having fun. At least I know I was, because there's a lot of call-outs to things, like a lot of references that almost sound like they could have come out of Dungeons and Dragons. As a matter of fact, playing through the game, it feels very inspired by Tabletop Dungeons and Dragons, which for those of you who don't know, I'm a fan. I don't get to play it because I don't know a Dungeon Master, and I really wouldn't like to be a Dungeon Master myself, but I love Dungeons and Dragons. I've played it in the past a long time ago, and just the possibilities of it is fantastic. And Divinity Original Sin 2 just kind of brings about all of those possibilities again. It's like a lot of the things that you just kind of see as the norm on RPGs and video games in general is just like Original Sin 2 just turns everything on its head. It's almost like whenever you think about how you're approaching a specific scenario, Divinity Original Sin 2 gives you so many options as to how you can approach that scenario that it makes for a really immersive and extremely satisfying experience. Then on top of that, you also have a really cool combat system where you can combine different elements in order to create different effects on your spells. Like just a very basic example is that you can have spells that create a patch of oil, or you can just have a natural patch of oil beyond the ground. You throw a flame in there, that shit's gonna burn, it's gonna make everybody else be caught on fire, everybody's gonna be taking additional damage throughout, and there's plenty of other really cool things to that combat system. I can't really say that much because, like I said, I only played a little bit of it, but just that little bit that I've played of it was enough to make it really stand out. And then there's also the characters that they create. They managed to create these really interesting characters and how this dynamic and how they interact with each other. Like, these characters actually have defined personalities, which is something that apparently a lot of video game developers nowadays are almost scared of, actually creating characters with a proper personality that will just do fucked up shit, and that is cool. Like, for instance, there's one character, I'm trying not to spoil too much, but there's a character that is constantly trying to rip other characters' faces off to use as disguises. That's one of the characters in this game. There's another character who happens to be a rogue, and just as you meet her, you talk with her, and she goes like, oh yeah, I need to have a word with that dude over there, and then you can either authorize her to have a word with him or not. And if you say you authorize her, she goes in there, she just fucking kills him. That's it. She just has a little quick word with him and then spills his guts all over the floor. And there's like a really gory description of how it happens too. Then there's also a narration feature where there's always a guy narrating the story and describing the things that are happening, because even though it is a really detailed video game, it does have its limits. And at the same time, the actual description of the narrator manages to paint a much more vivid image in your mind than necessarily just like, you know, the limited things that a video games are always going to be limited in a way, and as to how they present certain things to you. having a narrator that actually narrates something and describes how an actual scene took place, manages to actually fill the blanks of the story in your head in a better way than a video game could ever really explain. It really just pulls through your imagination, and there's just so much potential. Like to give you guys an idea of another mechanic that completely transcends a lot of video game cliches is, for instance, in most RPGs, you will sometimes come upon a chest. The chest may or may not be locked. If the chest is locked, you might want to grab some lockpicks or something. But if you don't have any lockpicks, you don't have any means at all to actually open that chest, you're forced to basically, well, I'll just leave that chest there and I'll come back later. Well, in the case of Divinity Original Sin, here's what happens. You go to the chest, you're like, oh, this chest is locked. Okay, how about I just do something that is perfectly logical, which is I'll pick up the chest, I'll take it with me, and then I'll just fucking unlock it later. And you can totally just do that. Just like, oh, there's a locked chest in here. I'll just take that with me, unlock it later, no problem at all. You can also move crates around, which usually in a lot of video games, these will be static things that will be there, and the most that you can interact with them is by destroying them. Well, in Original Sin, you grab them, you move them, you can do whatever you want. You can shoot spells at them, set them on fire. There's so much variety in there. And then the storytelling and how you can get your character to act. And again, all of this comes to full fruition as to how you create your character, because you can actually give quirks to your character, how he would react in certain situations, which will then give you additional dialogue options, which again just will reinforce the degree of immersion and role-playing that you are able to achieve in this game, and just solidifies it as a solid entry in one of the best video games of 2017. That's like Rurikhan seal of approval right there. If you own a PC and you like this kind of, I was gonna say JRPGs, but no, this kind of tactical RPGs, you owe it to yourself to play Divinity Original Sin 2. It has the makings of a fantastic title. I can't say it is a fantastic title because I've only played the very start of it, but from the impressions that I've got from playing just the very start of it, it's just very easy for me to wholeheartedly recommend this title. And some of you guys might be like, how can you not have played through this entire game? It's like, guys, I'm just one guy. There's a lot of games out there, and this one snuck under the radar for me. I feel really bad about it, but I'm making it up for it. And again, I still really, really believe one of the best games this year to see. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.